Okay, so I'm going to carry on. This is part 3. This is where we got up to. We created our household earnings and household grant income variables. And we're going to do the same here. This is just a similar egen for each individual. This is not the grant income. Sorry, this row over here. It's the number of grants. So this is going to be a 1 if there's an old age pension, plus 2, another 1 if there's disability grant, etc. So this will give us a number between 0 and 6 for how many grants each individual has. And then this line over here says, what's the total number of grants in the household? So it uses egen again with by, and it says, we've just created this variable individual grants. What I want to do now is sum up the number of all those individual grants across every member of the household. So that's why it's by UQ and R. Sum up using total the number of individual grants in each UQ and R, and call that household grants. That's something we're going to need later. Next, we move on to remittances. There's a main source of income variable. We can go and have a look at that in the data. And this tells us what sort of income the household reported, and this is for all the individuals in this data. So about 49% of the sample lives in households that report that salaries or wages or commission are the main source of income for the household. And then you can see the other big one is 31% of the sample lives in households where grants are the main form of income. So what we want to do is add in to the income variable that we've created household income from remittances. That's migrants, members of the family who live elsewhere but give money to this household. And also private pension income, not old age pension, but this is income that perhaps old people who worked and get a pension that they save for themselves, that's included in all the household income variables. So we can do that. Again, we have this situation where Stats South Africa codes not applicables and refusals and things like that with these very high numbers. And so what I'm going to show you here, just a quick sum of the remittance variable. There's not many. So of the 71,000 individuals in our data set, only 11,000 live in households where there's remittances, some with very small numbers. So this doesn't really make sense. We're going to skip over that. The median of those who do report remittances is 1,000, and some actually get quite a lot of money, but most, you can see the 95th percentile of the sample who do receive remittances gets 5,000 Rand a month. So most people don't get very much. The mean is 1,600. So we can generate remittances. It's just a dummy. It's equals to 1 if they do get positive remittance amount. And HHREM Inc. is just that actual amount of remittances that they get. So we can create that variable, done that here. And then we can move on to private pension. And again, we'll see that very few people, of the 71,000 individuals, only 3,000 approximately are living in households where people get a private pension. You can see that this number is higher than remittances. The median is 4.5, and the mean is actually 7,500. And there's some people who are reporting getting 100,000 Rand a month from their pension. That's not very common, but there's a good chunk of people with larger amounts of pension, certainly than remittances. So again, we want to calculate a household pension income variable that's equal to that amount. Again, not including those very strange large quadruple 8888 numbers. Now, we've done all that. We've got grant income, we've got income from work, we've got remittances, and we've got private pension income. And we add those together, and that's what this egen is doing. It's saying calculate household income as the row total for each person, but remember each person in the same household now has the same value. It's the row total of household earnings, household grant income, household remittance income, and household pension income. The GHS doesn't ask questions about rental income. So if you rent a house to somebody else, that might be an important source of earnings. Many people, for example, who live in a RDP house provided by the state, rent out part of that house, maybe a spare room that they've created at the back or some space in their yard, to somebody else. That's not included here. That might be an important source of income. Also, we don't have any the very rich people who might get income from investments that they have, not pension, but some other type of investment. If they get a monthly amount from, say they invest in shares in a company and that company pays them dividends once a year, that's not included here. So we're leaving out some forms of income, but I think we certainly have the main sources of income that households in South Africa would rely on. So we've created that variable. And here we go. Now what I'm doing is trying to figure out the distribution of that household income variable, only taking into account households. This is at the household level. We're doing this, we're including one household only per one household only, and not 10 times if there's 10 members of the household. And we're also finally, for the first time, using weights. Some households are more or less likely to be selected, and we need to take account of that. And so we do the sum with weights and if HH1 equals to 1. And so this is the household income variable. We're not adjusting thus far for size, but it's saying that the mean household income is 5,140. And sorry, that's the median, and the mean is about 13,000. You can see that there are very few households with extremely large incomes per month. This seems a bit unlikely to me, but it's there in the data, so that's also a possibility, but I'm not 100% sure.